A YouTuber named Chris Javier is making a random vlog around his neighborhood late at night when he gets the weird feeling that he's not alone. Moments later, the streetlight he's standing by goes off and on by itself, which he says it has never done before. He thinks it might just be his imagination, so he decides to further test the situation by directly communicating with whatever is controlling the light, which seems to respond more than once. Here's the first time.
What the heck is going on?
And then the streetlight seems to taunt him even as he walks away. Was this a coincidence, or is there no possible way?
Now it's not even turning off. As soon as I just said something about it, it turns off.
A short while later, Chris sees a disheveled figure walk out from the back alley where he was just standing. They seem totally out of it and speak aggressively to an imaginary person in front of them. At this point, Chris decides to get out of there because it's early in the morning and no one else is around. But to his surprise, the stranger soon follows. The person then abruptly returns to the back alley from where they came and begins to shudder under the same streetlight that was acting weird earlier. They seem drawn to this area and they start swinging their arms wildly in a circle, totally forgetting about Chris as he films the scene for a while longer and then gets away, between the lights seemingly responding to Chris's voice and a man randomly appearing from an empty back alley moments later. There just seems to be too many coincidences in this video to deny the paranormal could have been at work that night. When you're laying down some beats alone at night, the last thing you want to see is a phantom specter drift past a window out of the corner of your eye. This video was posted by East Coast Radio's YouTube channel in October of 2013. In the description they write, "In the middle of Shershin's late night show, the lights and desk shut down and a mysterious figure appeared in the studio area. This area is secured, nobody can get in it without fingerprint authorization, and shows no one entered the studio complex apart from Shershin himself. If we take the studio's word for it, you must admit that such events would be creepy, and when you watch the video itself, you feel even more unnerved. The shot shows Shershin at the mixing console, the lights dancing up and down the table. All the lights in the studio are on. A moment later, they all shut off. Apart from the computer monitors and emergency lights, darkness falls over the studio. Shershin picks up the phone to call someone and stands up. Watch the window off to his right. A dark hulking figure lurks past, which seems to alarm Shershin, as no one is supposed to be in the studio. He heads over to the window to get a better look before returning to the phone. The mysterious figure doesn't appear again. While likely not a phantom, as the mystery man looks too solid to be supernatural. What would an intruder be doing entering a studio at night, being that no theft was mentioned? It doesn't seem like burglary was the motive. And why did the lights go out? All very mysterious. Do you think you know what caused this? The next time you gaze up into the serene night sky, you might experience a feeling of panic instead of peace. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by After Performance 2. The Redditor explains that these strange lights were seen in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina last year on July 19th. The lights were grouped in threes, and according to the Redditor, some disappeared before she could capture them on video. The video shows a trio of lights floating overhead in the sky, and a moment later, another trio closer to the horizon off in the distance. The sets of lights don't float in strict formation, but seem to each be wavering at their own pace. They then flicker and disappear. Redditor Professional Truck 3 suggests that these were paper lanterns lit and then launched from the beach, but the 70s Kids negates that, saying if these were lanterns, they'd drift apart. While some say the wind is obviously taking the lanterns in the same direction, After Performance 2 theorizes that they're all going to the same destination. Another Redditor, Buster Blevins, chimes in proposing that this is not necessarily a unique occurrence. He wrote, "Last Friday, a bunch of people saw something very similar to this in northern Wisconsin. The lights would appear in groups of 3, and it was as if there was a pattern that looked like the light was traveling in a circle around something. Any other theories as to what these strange lights could be?" The story of the Watts family is a terrible and horrific incident most are familiar with, and which I've talked about a couple times in videos. But this footage is a little different. As many of you know, Chris Watts took the lives of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters in Frederick, Colorado in August of 2018. It's a horrifying event that appears to have called up some terrible energy within the Watts family home. Posted to YouTube by Conjure Queen Tours, who states that she's a medium, psychic, and empath in her comments. This footage purports to show ghostly images and EVP picked up by police cameras within the Watts family home. From figures in the mirrors to giggling girls, the cops come across some eerie things inside the home. According to some in the comments, many cultures cover mirrors when there's a passed away person in the home, as they believe the souls can get trapped in mirrors and thereafter never leave. Is that what's happening here? Most in the comments agree that they feel unsettled just watching the video. Others say you can feel the negative energy in the house and it feels alive. More even admit that this video left the hairs standing up on the back of their neck. The police as well appear to feel it as they search the home, first for clues, and later when they were called by neighbors who claimed a female intruder had entered the premises. YouTuber Miss So Is Your Face writes, "I've never seen a video where you can feel the energy. Wow. Can you feel it? I certainly can." When you're in the middle of the woods, alone and defenseless, the last thing you want to hear is this. This horrifying sound, according to its uploader, is a cougar mating call, but what it sounds like is a woman shrieking for her life in fear or inexplicable horror, coupled with the moaning horn-like sound of an unknown creature. If you hadn't been told this was a cougar, how would you feel hearing this in the middle of the woods? I mean, maybe it's just more horrifying knowing that it is a cougar, as it might just go for your face. Redditor Eli uses Reddit shares his opinion saying, "Hearing this without thinking it's a cougar would honestly make me blank myself," with many in the thread agreeing with that summatation. Others liken the sound to a woman having her life taken, while some think it sounds like a zombie breakout or a banshee. Further in the thread, however, Redditor The Lil Hedgehog claims that this sound is not in fact a cougar, but rather really is the sound of a woman shrieking from some police body cam footage, which has been dubbed into the video. Does anyone familiar with animal sounds know what a cougar shriek actually sounds like? Whether or not it's a cougar, I'd have to agree that if I heard this noise in the forest, I would surely panic. Remember that babysitter who made you go to bed early? You probably despised them. I know I did. But as this video will show you, we should be grateful. After all, you've never had a cobra as your guardian. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Calligram, this footage shows a baby lying on a blanket, surrounded by snake babysitters. Far from scared, the baby is cuddling with one of the cobras, its feet and arms intertwined with the snake's sinuous body. A wider frame shows 4 cobras surrounding the baby, all with their winged hoods unfurled, arched up and alert. Cobra characteristics include night vision, a strong sense of smell, smooth scales, round pupils, and of course hoods, which are spread via their neck ribs. When cobras raise their upper bodies like this and extend their hoods, they are displaying defensively. A cobra can take your life. With all of this in mind, offering up one's baby to these cobras is, without question, bad parenting. No additional information could be found about this video, so it's unclear why anyone would put a baby in such an unwarranted, scary situation. Most in the comments agree this is insane, with some suggesting that perhaps the snakes have been defanged or have their mouths sewn shut. However, Redditor SS Soulplexus offers another theory. He must be Voldemort. That strangely enough sounds the most likely. Robin Adri is the name of a YouTube channel with an interesting Ouija board experiment at 3 a.m.
Is there any spirits out here that would like to contact us?
They try to get the ghost to spell its name, but the session gets off to a bad start after they complain about how slow the ghost is at spelling. This seems to aggravate the spirit, and it asks to speak with Rob's twin brother Steven by spelling its name over and over again. The spirit goes on to profess that it does not have good intentions for his brother Steve.
Do you want to hurt Steven?
After a while, the Ouija board stops spelling Steven long enough to spell out Zozo instead. They eventually end the session properly, and even get assured that they will be left alone in the future.
You said that you will not haunt us, right? Thank you so much, we really appreciate it.
But it seems as though Zozo may have been luring them into a false sense of security. As they are leaving, they see a rattlesnake nearby, and it seems to be paying special attention to Steven. Rob and Adri are convinced that Zozo was sending them a warning sign in the form of a serpent, but I think this could also just be a coincidence. Let me know what you think. These videos posted by the Washington State Department of Transportation in January of 2020 have had thousands of people retweeting and speculating as to what was spotted that day on Sherman's Pass. The webcam photo shows a mysterious creature with not a trace of skin showing beneath, not even around the eyes and face. It doesn't look like a person, and it doesn't look like a costume, but it does look like it could be a bipedal humanoid covered in fur. One day later, a new official video of the same species, if not the same specimen, was released by the Department of Transportation. This time spotted at the Snoqualmie Pass, over 4 hours away. I think this second sighting looks more like a person than the first, and I think they might even be wearing a pair of boots, but it's too far away to tell. I think maybe this is a person who was inspired by the first sighting. It's too bad that this supposed creature chose to walk away from the camera instead of towards it, so we could get a better look. What's different about both of these sightings, and most others, is the source. This is a government agency, not some random person on YouTube, so I think it's safe to say that something was definitely out there on both days. Whether it was a human or a real creature though, I cannot say. Maybe one day soon a third sighting will give us the final piece of evidence we need to make a solid conclusion. Are these paranormal explorers being trolled? Or is there something haunting this former asylum? Published by Exploring with Maximilian in April of 2021. While the team is exploring, they hear something press the out-of-tune keys of a distant piano.
No, I can't do the piano.
Is that the piano?
No. That
From...
It freaks them out and they're not sure what to do. They decide to go check it out and find the room empty, but while in the room they hear another strange noise off screen. They conclude that there has to be someone in here, but they can't seem to find them.
What the
Now, what was that? No, there must be someone in there, surely. Like, this is impossible.
They wouldn't do that.
Until, is somebody hiding in that curtain? Although they don't check the curtain, they still sense someone is here and they call out to them. After hearing yet another noise, they decide to leave. They never did see what or who was prowling around the abandoned asylum, but whatever it was chased them out of there with its trolling. I just wish we could know if it was a true haunting or just some strangers messing with the team. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Project Bad 720, this Redditor wrote, "We moved out of our last house because the activity was getting out of hand. Now it's acting up again." The Redditor also included that they're in West Texas. Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about. There was certainly some discussion about this video in the comments. Creepy Girl Tia wrote, Sounds like you have brought something that a spirit is attached to, that you brought to your new place, or the spirit is attached to you. And Fiery Witchburn 333 has a similar sentiment saying, the houses aren't haunted, you are, seek help. And the uploader responded saying, I actually believe I am being followed, so this makes sense. Do you think that's what's going on here? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for getting me to 30,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 40,000 subscribers next. Thank you.